guys, welcome back to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me and Luca for another video. I gotta water my plants today, so I thought I would take you along with me to do like an updated nutrient solution. But honestly, it feels kind of weird for me to just continue my videos like nothing happened. So I think I'm just gonna... Have any of you watched Seinfeld before? Especially the episode where they pitch their show and the executives ask, what's the show about? And they're like, nothing. That is literally what it is. It's a show about nothing. So this is a video essentially about nothing. I think that's where I want to go with it. We're just gonna talk about plants, water some plants, shoot the shit. I really want to do other things, but I think this is just not the time nor the video for that. So I hope that you guys are cool. Just having a very chilled, laid back, probably do some plant updates as I'm going through everything. Sure, why not? Let's just toss that in there. Literally no plan for this video other than I feel weird. This has been a weird week for a lot of people. Yeah, let's just first off get this started. This is my nutrient lineup. I believe I put it in order of when the nutrients go in. The first one I upgraded to monocylic acid. This is the company that I bought it from, Dune, and I don't have this memorized yet, so I have a little cheat sheet with me. This is a 4-gallon camping water container. It's about 1 ml per gallon for this. And I thought up of an ingenious idea on how to not put like pipettes into your nutrients, because I'm a little bit weird like that. I don't like to spend money on nutrients and then put things in the solution continuously, because I just feel like that's got to contaminate it somehow. So I figured, why not put it in these squeezy bottles and then get these, and then I don't have to continually put stuff into my nutrients. Let's just measure out 4 mils in this graduated cylinder. And very non-excitingly, you're just gonna dump it in there. I know there's like talk about, do you wait, do you not wait? I don't know if in the directions it says anything about waiting. I'm just gonna leave it in here for a little bit, just being overcautious, I guess. Right, I'm just gonna talk about it. I promised myself that I wasn't gonna talk about this because this is a plant channel, but it just feels weird. It feels weird for me to not address it, at least in a video, since it was a pretty important news this week. The United States election, yeah, I'm not gonna get political, not in the sense that you're probably thinking of, where this is not a channel for that for sure. I think I'm at the stage where I haven't fully allowed myself to digest this information yet, and I'm just kind of putting off that moment. I don't know exactly at what point I will be able to fully understand what happened. I think a lot of people are surprised, regardless of how you voted. I think there's a lot of people that are surprised. You know what really gets me about politics, and this might be different depending on what country you're in, I want to know what point this happened, because I don't think this has always been the case, but at what point did we collectively decide that we can no longer have respectful conversations with people that have opposing viewpoints? At what point did we have a little powwow in this country and just decide, right, we are no longer going to listen to people who have opposing viewpoints, and instead we're just going to talk over them or shout at them or, you know, call them names, whatever have you. And this is not even like things that go on in the internet. I've noticed, and maybe it was really COVID that started it off, that I have been an unfortunate part of many gatherings, family gatherings in particular, where politics inevitably will come up, and it just gets downright nasty, really nasty, to the point of like things are being brought up that happened that isn't even related to politics, but just like really nasty personal attacks. And it just, when did that happen? Whenever a person asks me like, oh, what are you, right? And they're asking, are you a conservative or a Democrat, right? Two-party system. I really hesitate and I don't answer that question really anymore. I'm just like, I'm myself. And I have very unique views on things that cannot be characterized in one group. And the tricky part is now, if you do answer that question, then it just automatically ascribes other viewpoints that you might not even agree with, but just because they are party viewpoints, that they become attached and glued to you. It's just dehumanizing to a point to talk about politics, because why people get so nasty, I think, is because they stop seeing you as a person and they just start seeing you as the other side. And I don't agree with that way of going about things. We are still people. We have very unique life experiences and points of view, and why should we not just be allowed to make our own opinions without having to prescribe to a certain party? I don't understand why that is not a thing in America anymore. I don't know. I know this is super off topic and I should probably shut my mouth and continue on with this. I don't know how long it's been. I feel like it's been a good amount, and I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me talk about this. We're just gonna move on. I don't know how much time it's been, but it feels like it's been enough. So next part is we're gonna go in with CalMag, and the particular brand of CalMag, I used to use General Hydroponics CalMag, and I recently switched it up for a brand called Athena, and it's a blended CalMag, so it has a few things in it, and it just looked, by the description, a little bit more targeted towards correcting anything nutritionally that could be going wrong with your plant, so I decided to pick up that. The rate is 2.5 mils per gallon, so I put 10 mils into this. Generally, those are the first two steps. If you want to know why I'm adding this, what it exactly does for the plant, I have a whole thing that I made about it. I'll go ahead and put a card somewhere up here if you want to go into the details of everything, but right now I don't feel like it. We're just gonna be adding nutrients in here. Next one is my 3-in-1 nutrient solution, like TPS1, and this one I adjusted it a little bit. I put 10 mils per gallon, 20, and then let's get the other 20. Next step we have is, so this is not how it's spelled, and I was actually thinking about taking off the label and correcting the spelling just because I don't want to seem like an idiot on YouTube, but then I thought about it and I was like, well, actually people probably already think that, so I really have nothing to lose at this point. It's called fulvic acid. I put fulvic acid on here, no idea why, I missed the L, and I think I'm just gonna keep it. So I'm just gonna add 30 mils per gallon. I mean, no, for 4 gallons. Whatever that comes out to per gallon. Okay, next is Super Thrive. This is a somewhat new addition to me. I don't really know if it's helping or not helping. It's too early to tell, but can I just say this smells horrible, which means it's probably good for your plants, but the smell is bleh. Okay, 2 mils per gallon, so 8. Not to mention this stuff is like not cheap. It's pretty expensive. And the reason why I didn't feel like adding it to a squeezy bottle is there's organic components in here. I think it has like kelp and all that kind of stuff, and I'm pretty sure they can't be exposed to light, and that's why I decided to leave it in its container. It'll probably last longer that way. And then the last step is pH down. So technically this, without adjusting everything, is at an appropriate pH. I just like to adjust it down a little bit more. I am still trying to work out what's like the perfect amount to add. I'm gonna add 10 mils and see what happens. Let's just get the lid on here, and then I'm just gonna shake it up. This is really heavy, so I wish I had the upper body strength to just like pick it up and shake it, but I don't, so this is the best that we're gonna be able to do. We don't strive for perfection here, obviously. Speaking about perfection, seeking perfection in the plant hobby or as like a plant collector, plant hobbyist, whatever you want to call us, I just think it's a little bit overrated in my humble opinion. I don't get, like, of course, everyone isn't going to be sad if they get a perfect leaf or their plant looks just right, or, you know, there isn't any crisping or malformed leaves or yellowing and stuff. And it's because I think it's really run by social media, this continual feeling that I'm sure each of us have gotten at least at some point where we haven't felt like our plant collections were good enough, when in reality they are great. I don't care if you have 200 plants or if you have 5 plants, like, you are in a good spot in your journey, and you are shorting yourself so much if you keep comparing yourself to other people in this hobby. And I don't think, and I haven't gotten any comments about it, it's just, it's all in our heads, right? We are the worst critic to ourselves, and social media makes that habit so much easier because you get to see all these perfect leaves and perfect collections and these really expensive, rare plants that everyone has, and you feel like your collection's not good enough because you don't have that. And it's always that mentality of like, well, when I get this, then I will feel like my collection's good enough. And in reality, that's never going to happen. You can have the most expensive collection known to man, and there will probably still be some, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my dog pissing on our lemon tree. Thanks, Luca. Sorry. Anyway, it will never feel enough. And comparison is the thief of joy. It just is upsetting to me that those feelings that we go through take away some joy in this hobby. So I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but your collection is good enough. It is amazing. Wherever you are in your plant journey, you are doing the best you can, and it's great. Think about all of the wonderful plants you have and how awesome they are, and just forget about the rest. It's not worth it. It's so not worth it. Okay, let's water some plants. We're just gonna go around parts of my house. I'll show you through some updates and we'll see where this video goes. So far, this video has been a freaking disaster between my dog knocking over my tripod and then my memory card being corrupted and then having to transfer all of my files over to my computer so I can completely erase my memory card. We're here and I've already watered some, so we're gonna take it back. We're gonna backtrack a little bit. I didn't do too much off camera. There were a couple of updates on this Hoya shelf over here that I wanted to talk about. Mainly, this is my Madara green edge and it has since rooted, which is great. I need to repot it at some point. These are all the good roots that it has. However, really slow on getting a growth point going. There is no active growth point on it yet. So that's been a little bit of a slow journey. Hopefully that this is slightly better. And the other one that I want to show you that is doing weird things is the Hoya aceh, and this is a specific kind. This leaf is going, and well, it's pretty much gone. The other leaf is doing okay, and I don't know if it's just stressing out because the roots are still fine. It's not like it has root rot. I've just been continuing to water it and then hopefully it'll sprout a growth point and be okay. Don't know why it's doing that. And just for funsies, look at my cute variegated Mathilde. She is so adorable. I really love the pink leaves and the stems. She's super duper cute. Still have her in fluval. Might repot her at some point, but as long as she's growing and doing well, I'll just let her be. So I think that was everything on that shelf. I do want to give you a quick peek in some of these prop boxes that I have. Some new leaves that have been coming out that have been just so freaking stunning. I need to show you guys. This is the Carla crossed with a PAP FTG crossed with another Carla, I believe, and hopefully you can see it's showing off of the super beautiful veins, but this emergent color was like rose gold. It is the prettiest thing ever. It's still very, very pink, and yeah, it's really, really awesome. And then a quick update, this is a cartel down plant. This is my Bigfoot self. It's actually finally started to grow new roots. There's a new root here, and then there's another one right over here. This plant was a little touch and go for a second there. It was an import. However, it's since put out a new leaf, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell, but the emergent is like a perfectly purple color. Here we go. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the purple a little bit better. It's got purple around the edges and then purple through the veins. It's so freaking pretty. These are the older 2 leaves, and this one's definitely going. Let me just show you the first plant real quick. Hopefully it'll be more accurate. Oh yeah, it's way more accurate now. Yeah, look at the pretty veins. The veins are super pretty, but also that rose goldy shift to it. Before we move on to the next part of the house, I just wanted to show you how the props are doing and where they're sitting after I repotted all of the Steve's Leaves anthurium. So this is what they all look like. They're just hanging in here, looking good. Look at this beautiful new leaf from my Doc Block noID. This is one of the first anthurium that I got, and it's doing okay. The new leaf on my noID Pap Carla dress, look at how dark that is. She's really, really dark. Let's just put that back, and then we will move on to the next part. This is a little bit of a tight squeeze because my dining table's right here, and this is another Hoya plant shelf. What can I show you? The Bertonier is still doing really, really well. It has so many blooms on it, and also the lacunosa royal flush, I've noticed, has a ton of new growth on it as well. Look at how many new leaves this lacunosa is putting out. I don't think it's blooming currently. Do I see any peduncles? Oh, well, there's actually one that's working on a bloom right here. Look at how big it's gotten. I kind of forgot about this one, but it's actually filling out really well. I feel like this is just like a sea of green veiny Hoya, but this is literally where I keep the majority of them. Oh, you know what I want to show you guys? I'm gonna pull out my AH049. This was actually really difficult to do. I knocked over a plant in the process, but look at how freaking massive it is. I'm thinking it's gonna have to go on like at least like a 3 or a 4 foot trellis. So if you guys happen to know if there are any trellises out there that are that big, please let me know, because this is becoming unmanageable for me. I just wanted to show you one specific leaf that I grew. Look at that huge mint splash. Is that not just so cool and incredibly stunning? I've never seen a splash be that big before. Oh my god, I love this plant, but it is becoming a little bit unruly. We have my entryway anthurium shelf. Just gonna give everybody a quick water. The Pap noID import is putting out a new leaf. Hopefully you all can see it right here. This little woohoo plant, so this is the woohoo, I think it's the Woo 4 red crystal. This one actually is popping a new leaf over here. I know the lighting is not the best. This noID Pap, this is the new leaf that's coming out. Looks like it's gonna be another big one. This is the woohoo Woo 4 red crystal. It's got a new leaf on the way. And then the Dark Phoenix is over here and still rooting away. Hopefully you guys can see that caterpillar. It is looking like it's finally starting to do something. Hopefully I'll get a new leaf coming, because the older leaves are looking a little bit beat up. It's been a hot minute since you guys have seen my garage Hoya. How are we feeling? Are we feeling traumatized, PTSD a little bit? Luckily, no mealybugs that I've been able to see so far. Thank God, or whoever you believe in. Top row, there's a very dead Monstera prop, so let's just ignore her. This is the AH elephant, and look at how it's been rooting. It has been rooting away very, very happily. And this is a recent repot. I think this was in my Halloween video. This is the Hoya latifolia GPS 6887 or something like that. The very textured Hoya, and the growth point has been going off. There are new leaves forming right here. This is going to be kind of hard to show, but hopefully you can see those new white roots forming in the substrate. It looks like the repot went well. This is the middle shelf and the AH003. I know I've gotten a couple questions about where you can get cuttings from. I got this as like a Hoya box where you don't really get to choose anything you get, and I know this one's a little bit more rare Hoya. I do hope maybe sometime in the future I can kind of take cuttings that I will be able to give to you guys. I think that'll be awesome down the road. I just kind of want to put the mealybug. Oh, how are you, buddies? I just want to get the mealybug history very, very far behind us first and make sure it's under control before I even start doing that. I used to have a lot of anthurium seedlings down below. I just kind of noticed that the containers weren't really keeping that much humidity in there, so I shoved everyone here inside this little container. Look at how many little cutie baby anthuriums. There's also some rehabs in there. They're all in this prop box, and hopefully everyone will do well. So we're in my plant room now. This is kind of like a temporary thing I have over here. My monsteras have been doing better. They're not doing their best. I really have to like cut off all of the brown bits. This is just my Aurea that I'm watering here, and then I have some Hoya. I put my black magic here. This is my elbow, and these need to find a more permanent home. This prop box, I have some imports that I'm currently acclimating right now, but what I want to show you in here. So I was having a little bit of a difficult time with this plant just because the new growth kept dying off. I put her in some high humidity, and that's why you see those really wild aerial roots, and we have a new tendril going. So we have 2 leaves on this new tendril. There's a new leaf off of this node down here, so I can't wait to see what the new growth will be like, because I love this Hoya so much. I think it's really, really unique. Right off the bat, I have some updates to show you on my top anthurium shelf. Look at her. She is stunning. This anthurium is quickly becoming one of my favorites that I have in my collection. This is the NSC Silver Crystallinum that they have. I think she's so gorgeous. I'll go ahead and pop up pictures of what the emergent looked like, but it comes out as like a really deep, almost red burgundy color, and then it'll fade into more of like a coppery rose color, and now we're here, and this leaf is still super, super soft, so she has a ways to go. So this is her leaf that came before, and then this is her oldest leaf, just starting to show a little bit of crisping, and she's also flowering. This is the first time she's flowered for me. It's just good having a plant doing well in your collection. It always makes your day a little bit better, and I just thought I want to share her with you. Also love, before we move on to the next one, that her lobes kind of like touch in the middle. It's really, really cool, and yeah, I love her. The other update that I wanted to show you guys is this is my import Cartel Down, the Hue King of Spades, and it's finally starting to push a new leaf. I did cut away a couple of the leaves that it had just because they were starting to yellow and go, but it's growing out of cataphyll, and hopefully y'all can see this, but it's pushing a new leaf finally. And let me just show you what the root situation looks like, because this rooted out so well. It's just covered in roots. So I'm so glad that it rooted out that well. I didn't even have it in a prop box or anything like that. And yeah, so this is the most recent leaf I have on it, and hopefully I'll get a new leaf very, very soon. So this is my NSC Hindley, and it is not doing very well. It might be hard to tell, but the leaves are very, very soft. And I did repot it because there was a little bit of rot happening, and I think that rot is continuing, so I am probably going to have to repot it once more and just see what's going on with the root system, which is quite sad because I got this as a pretty small seedling and this is the longest leaf it has, and I will be very, very sad if I lose this plant. So moving on downwards, not too much to report here. I did finally get this anthurium to turn around. This is the anthurium mag carla crossed with the stripy mag carla narrow. That is a mouthful to say. Look at the new leaf here. Look at how dark it is, and that sinus is super duper green. This is the first normal leaf in a while. Can't wait to see what that one looks like. This is a sad looking case. This is my Doc Block Brielle crossed with Zara, and it's been getting something happening to it. I don't know if it's like a disease or what, but a lot of the older leaves are starting to yellow, and it did try to pop a new leaf, but it did abort it, so something's going on and it's not really looking that good. However, on the other hand, this is my lacunosa white pearl, and she's growing so fast. I love the texture on this plant. I think it's really, really cool, and it just has been surprising me how fast this one has been growing. In other news, I got a new NGG. I am ready to get harmed again by this plant because I love its foliage, but I don't love how it will rot on you randomly, but I will have to go on that journey again and see how it goes. This is the bottom shelf over here, and I wanted to show you guys, I brought back this is the anthurium pap, Scott Cohen's pap crossed with a Lux, and this plant, all of the leaves just started to yellow off, and I brought this guy back from a stump. So this is its first leaf since I domed it up, and thank God it came back. In other sad news, this is my Queen of Hearts and nothing yet so far. Oh, this is a fun plant. It was supposed to be like a king clarinervium. I don't know if it looks like a king clary to me, but I really love the leaf shape and the veins of this clary. I think it's really, really pretty. I got it as a tiny, tiny seedling, and it's growing at a cataphyll now. So the last thing that I want to end off on is my prop boxes that I have here. I moved all of my anthurium babies into these 2 boxes that I had in my plant room. I also want to show you guys this plant. Look how pretty this guy is. This is I think it's a CP, like a circus peanuts. Let me look at the tag. Super faded Mag Verde crossed with a CP, yeah, and crossed with a Delta Dawn Self. Look at the texture on this anthurium. It looks like an alligator almost, you know, that skin. It's so, so cool, and it's also working on a new leaf as well, so I can't wait to see how dark that one is too, because this is a pretty dark plant. But anyway, back to the prop boxes. This is the first one that I have. Not much to show you other than we have like a Carla rehab that has started to sprout a couple growth points. This guy has a new leaf coming out. It's pretty dark as well. What are you? This is a noID crossed with a dress. This box is a little bit more exciting because it has some of my best comeback plants. I got this plant as like a teeny tiny seedling. This is a Carla dress, and I got it from Hoya Hole, and it unfortunately rotted, but look at those new roots. I have it in moss, and it is finally rooting out. But not only that, this is the newest leaf that it gave me in the prop box, and it is actually working on another leaf. I'm so glad that I was able to keep this plant alive, because look at the veination, it's dark, it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. 2 more plants that finally had a comeback this is the NSC Carla Blackie Eye, and as you can see, this is the oldest leaf. It is definitely going. I don't see any new roots, but what's exciting is look at this new leaf that it gave me. Those veins are so stunning. It does have a little bit of damage from spider mites, but most importantly, it just gave me a new leaf, and it just is doing so much better in the prop box. That made a great comeback. And the last one I want to talk about, this one is the, let's see, Red Crystal Ace of Spades crossed with a BVEP. I really thought this plant was a goner, and it honestly should have been because it just didn't do anything for the longest time, but I have it in fluval stratum, so I'm kind of testing out to see if moss or fluval is the best for rehabs. Because of the prop box, you can see those new baby roots starting to grow, and this leaf it put out in the prop box, and I don't know if you're going to be able to catch like the shift in it. Red and green and blue. It's such a beautiful plant. This plant really made me fall in love with anthurium, and I'm so glad that I was able to save it, because not only did I save this one, it also had an offset that it grew, so this is actually its offset. So now I have 2 of these plants. I don't really need to, but let's see how they do in fluval. So that about does it for me. I got the majority of my watering taken care of and out of the way. I really do truly feel like this was a video about nothing, but I hope you guys kind of enjoyed some plant updates along the way and didn't mind hearing me rant, because it's just been a really weird week, and I think the best thing for us to do right now is to just kind of start to process it maybe together. So if you guys kind of want to comment down below how this week made you feel, it doesn't have to be about the election or anything like that, but just, you know, put those thoughts and feelings out so that you're no longer holding on to them and just stewing. I'm just really grateful for you guys, and that I have this channel that I can just make videos like this that doesn't exactly need a purpose, but we can just come together over our love of plants. I hope everyone has a lovely weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Ow, I did it again. Bye.